cool. So tonight I'm giving everybody, whoever, the free first chapter of my book, Girl Get Off the Couch. It is my gift to you and you on your journey towards losing a mental weight and understanding that diets don't work. Diets don't work, and let me tell you why. Because when you don't like yourself and you're in emotional pain, what is the difference between eating an apple and a bag of chips? I mean, people tell you all the time, just eat fruits and vegetables and cut the carbs, and that's all you need to lose weight. Oh, yeah, great. Mechanically and at a DNA level, yes, that's how the body operates. But when you don't like yourself, we don't love yourself, when you're in pain, why would you choose the apple over the bag of chips? What's the difference? And in fact, there is no difference. That's why diets don't work. That's why you follow a diet for a short period of time, say it's a week, 2 weeks, maybe you even get to a month, but undoubtedly you return back to old habits because you're not dealing with the thing that's causing you pain. And the emotional pain that we're in is why we are choosing to eat what we're eating. Food is the number one choice for comfort. Chewed worldwide is the number one choice for comfort. Right after food, when we eat and the food doesn't satisfy our emotional needs, doesn't satisfy the pain, or only works for a short period of time, we next turn to alcohol. And when alcohol doesn't do the job, we go to drugs. When drugs doesn't do the job, then we go to hypersexual activity or somewhere in between that process. Because what we're doing is trying to fill a void in our heart. Because we're in emotional pain from trauma that we experienced as children, as adults, and that trauma can literally be anything. Everything from divorce to grief to loss, to separations and relationships, to toxic relationships, all of which creates trauma. And when we don't process that trauma in a healthy manner, what happens, it accumulates in our bodies, and we have a very hard time processing life because that trauma has colored the way we see the world, the way we experience the world, and more importantly, how we see ourselves in the world, how we view ourselves when we look in the mirror every day, when we start telling ourselves we're not beautiful, we're not enough, we're too fat, too black, too short, too tall, our butt's too big, our butt's not big enough, our waist's too small, our weights are not big enough, and everything in between, because we're flooded with all these negative comments and thoughts and interactions and impressions, either from TV, from people, and more importantly, ourselves. We are always our biggest critics. And certainly I know that story firsthand. My book, Girl Get Off the Couch, is all about my 80-pound weight loss journey. I was the big girl on the couch. I was the girl that everybody thought was fine, and I really wasn't, because I was in so much pain and I didn't know how to speak it. I didn't know how to say I'm in pain. But I used food to cope with that pain. I used food to cope with a toxic relationship when I was trying to get going through a divorce because my husband couldn't keep it together because he was out here playing naked twister. And all of that influenced how I saw myself in the world and my desire to comfort myself. And I chose food. Food was cheap, food was readily available, and I felt like it was a better choice than alcohol. you know? I was like, it's a better choice than alcohol or drugs or hypersexuality, actuality, and everything in between in different combinations. So my point to you is, if you're on a journey and you're finding yourself, I'm on diet after diet after diet. Trust me, I did paleo, keto, vegetarian. I was vegetarian for a year and a half, almost 2 years actually. And then I went vegan because I felt like vegetarian wasn't strict enough because I wasn't losing the weight. And in fact, I had gained weight. So I decided, well, I'm going to give up all the stuff that's vegetarian, including the meat, or beyond the meat. I'm gonna give up the eggs, I'm gonna give up the dairy, some of which a lot of vegetarians still incorporate in their diet. I'm gonna go straight vegan. And you talking about strict dieting, I mean, you got to be real committed to be a vegan. But even with that, there's unhealthy foods in whatever diet you choose. If you are not valuing yourself, if you're still dealing with the hurt and the pain, because we're going to find we need the comfort. If you're in pain, the first thing as a human you want to do is comfort yourself. So food tends to be that choice for many of us. And that's why diets don't work. That's why I call myself the mental weightologist, because until you deal with the hurt and pain and the shame attached to all of it, nothing will change. Your weight won't change. When you find inner peace, when you start to accept yourself, when you start dealing with the trauma and that's causing you the emotional pain, guess what? A side effect of feeling better is losing weight. Because guess what? You start to make different choices in your food. You start to see the value in having an apple versus a bag of chips. It undoubtedly happens, and it happens without you even thinking or being conscious of it, because you love the person that you see in the mirror, you value the person, you're content, you're happy, you're finding yourself worthy, you're enough, all the things you're building yourself from the inside out. Guess what? Undoubtedly, you make different choices in food. It's like magic, and you're not even thinking about it. That's why diets don't work, and that's was my message tonight to my group, and that's what I want to share with you guys. And in honor of diets don't work, I want to share with you absolutely free first chapter of my book, best-selling book, Girl Get Off the Couch. It is my very real, very personal story of how my trauma and how it led me to eat, in addition, and how I got rid of the weight. And I got rid of the weight by dealing with the trauma. So there it is for you tonight, and all this dark chocolate that I'm giving y'all. You're welcome. But it is my goal, my hope, my prayer for you is that you take advantage of the free chapter, read it. See if it interests you. See if it sounds like you. See if it says, yeah, that sounds like me, or that sounds like my friend, or that sounds like my sister. Buy the book, read it, and start implementing some changes. And if that doesn't work, then reach out, connect with a licensed therapist like myself. There are plenty of us out here available to help you and walk you through the process. All right. That is my story. So free first chapter of my book. First time I've ever done this. So y'all welcome. I was inspired today. And so I wanted you guys to have it. Just take a peek. Now I can't give you the whole book for free now. Sister gotta eat. But I want you to just check it out. See if it's of interest to you. See if it's useful to you. See if it's helpful to you. See if it sounds like you. And I hope through my story that you're inspired and empowered to change your own story and to change your journey, because we are all in this fight together. There is not one of us that's immune to mental illness, because either we are the person suffering or we are the person loving the person that's suffering. That's why this is all of us. ALL, all of us. Nobody is immune. So that is my story. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Radisha, the mental weightologist, helping you on your journey to losing the mental weight. All right, y'all. Bye.